Horn of Roy Hargrove and a piece by Miles Davis called Milestones. This is 89.7 FM with Michael Muir at 10 minutes past 4. And I wonder if you're a younger musician starting out. If you are, an ongoing challenge is to find places where to play and improve your live performance skills. You may have spent thousands of hours practicing, but you also have to learn how to play live to an audience, which can be a bit of a scary thing in the early days. One non-threatening performance environment you might like to try is the World Bar in King's Cross. They have open mic sessions of Latin and jazz music every Monday from 7 to 10:30. They're at 24 Bayswater Road, which is just a couple of minutes from the station. And the coordinator there is Rinske Geerlings, who has a pretty solid background in music herself.
Yeah, we've been running it in the area of King's Cross for 7.5 years now, because it started in July 2006. So I think it's the longest standing jam in Sydney.
And you get a lot of interesting people coming along, I hear.
Well, sometimes very local and sometimes very international visitors, really from all over the world, and some core people who are always there. So we have a solid supporting group and many visitors. So it's usually about, I'd say, half-half in terms of people we know and people who are completely new and who might come once or who might come once a year, who might come once a quarter, whatever frequency they can fit in.
Some of the local names you've had Dahlia Dore and her daughter, of course, the well-known Lily Dore, Lily Dore. Steve Clisby, I understand.
Yeah.
Who else turns up, in terms of instrumental music?
Well, it's a really good format for singers, but also for horn players. So we get people who turn up with trumpets and saxophones and flutes and trombones, clarinets, and it's just a very welcoming environment we've created, as opposed to what you sometimes see in, well, what I've seen in Europe especially, where a jam is not really an open jam so quickly. It's more you have to know everybody and you have to be really good. With us, it's, everybody at least gets a go. And that creates sometimes some interesting dynamics with people who are not very experienced. But most of the time, I'd say, 80-90% of the time, people sound very solid and experienced. And it just, it's just a nice dynamic, see everybody working together.
What's your background?
Well, I started singing with my dad, who had a little band called Lazy Midlife when he was in his late 40s, early 50s.
And whereabouts was this?
In Holland.
Oh.
I grew up in the area around Utrecht in Holland. And I started singing around 14, 15 years old. Spent a lot of time in Cuba after that. So I got really into Latin music and learned a lot of piano playing and percussion and singing and so congas and bongo and so on as well, and combined some of that into my jazz music, because I love jazz and I love the Jobim and Latin jazz versions as well. So yeah, I did a lot of that for the last, 20-something years.
So who are your favourite singers, for example?
Well, in the jazz sort of from, I guess, Nancy Wilson, Anita O'Day, and I cover some of those in my primitive version of those incredible women. So I get very inspired listening to their versions of those standards. So
do you get up and sing at the jam sessions sometimes?
Yeah, I usually sing the first, the first 40 minutes or so, and then we invite all the other singers and instrumentalists to come up and play. And I sing at the World Bar in that environment a lot. So. And
so when is the next session?
The next session will be Monday the 10th of February. It's on a weekly basis, except for long weekends when the bar has usually some other things happening. So 24 Bayswater Road, 7 till 10:30 every Monday. Turn up with instruments and if you're a singer, with 3 copies of your charts, and we'll make sure you get a spot. And we'll hook you up with some people some people who are not so experienced, they can maybe be helped by some of the guys that come more often to our sessions. So it's a very fun environment.
That's Rinske Geerlings talking about the jam sessions at the World Bar down in Bayswater Road, 24 Bayswater Road. As she said, the next one will be next Monday, 7:30 to 10, so you might be interested in that. It's only a couple of minutes from the station, so not too far to go. It's 18 past 4 on 89.7, Drive with Michael Muir. And we were talking to Rinske Geerlings about the jam sessions at the World Bar, and she brought along one of the musicians who plays there. He's from Russia, from Irkutsk. His name is Stas Radzievskiy. I got the surname right, but you'll notice in the interview I get the first name wrong. So I thought speaking to Stas would be an excellent opportunity to find out how he got into jazz in Russia. This is Stas. Of course, the other person we have with us here is Stas. I won't attempt your surname now, I'll do that later, who is from Irkutsk. Tell us a bit about yourself. How did you become a jazz player?
Oh, it's a long story. So, it's a very long story. I'm not only jazz musician. I try to cover different styles and play something like more popular or a beat, but quite often I play jazz. And I started playing jazz when I went to musical school, so in age of probably 7.
Nice.
It wasn't jazz in the very beginning, but I joined jazz band when I was around 12 years old. So since then, yeah.
And you were telling me about some of your favourites earlier on. Charlie Parker, of course.
Yeah, Charlie Parker. I spent quite a lot of time on Charlie Parker.
So listening,
listening, copying, and like digging Omnibook. Is
So
where all of his solos are transcribed. And Charlie Parker, it's no need to transcribe Charlie Parker because it's available in printed version. But I played along with Charlie Parker, like practiced, and recently we did with local musicians 2 gigs of tribute of Charlie Parker. Yeah, it was quite good.
And what's the attitude in general to jazz in Russia? You know, is it a widespread thing? Are there a lot of jazz fans in Russia?
It's not that widespread thing. Jazz festivals happen in Russia, and
Which cities do they take place in?
like everywhere, I think. It's Moscow, St. Petersburg, Novosibirsk is very good city for jazz scene, and Irkutsk, where I'm from, is yeah, we do maybe like 3 or 4 big jazz festivals, and sometimes at least once a year we invite, not me, but organizers invite well-known jazz musicians like also Bob Malak and Mike Stern, for example, and many others, like big names.
That was Stas Radzievskiy. I've got that name down pat now. From the World Bar, the jam sessions that occur on Monday nights. Sounds like a friendly man, doesn't he? Sounds as though he knows his jazz as well. Jazz has been popular in Russia since the 1920s. They've been making recordings. Amazing thing, jazz. It's spread all over the world very quickly. This is Adam Dunning from his recording Glass Bottom Boat. Bit of Latin American type music from an Australian.
Are we falling into the sea, to a world where freedom dreams? Are we falling into the sea, through the glass, the life unseen? And beneath the blue water stands our nature's senora. She's scantily dressed to the knee. On the wave rides the orca with the Lady Pandora. She's close